Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session on course design best practices for higher education. A quick overview of our agenda today. We're going to do some brief introductions, and we'll talk about some course design best practices in Brightspace. We'll have time to demo in the environment, and then at the end, we'll have time for Q&A. A few things to note, our Zoom Q&A box is open for any questions throughout today's session. And a recording of this session, as well as a PDF of the slide deck and all questions from the Q&A, will be posted to the Brightspace community once we are finished today. So, a bit about us. My name is Samantha Wooldridge. I'm a Senior Adoption Specialist here at D2L, and I have my colleagues Renata and Catherine with me today to answer questions in the Q&A chat. Before we get too far, there are some terms I'd like to clarify. First up, we have D2L. This is the company. We make a product called Brightspace, which is a learning management system. Depending on where you work, your organization may call Brightspace something else, but if you're with us today, chances are it all refers to Brightspace. Additionally, we have the Brightspace community. This is a hub of resources, groups, and events where you can connect with other Brightspace users or learn more about Brightspace functionality and find events like the one we're having today. There's also our community group for higher education faculty. If you're interested in joining us there, we continue our discussions after these sessions, share relevant articles to teaching in higher education, as well as other events. If you're interested, the link to join is in the chat. So now that you know about us, we'd like to know a little bit about you. If you don't mind, I have a quick 3-question poll coming up on your screen. Our first question is, what is your biggest challenge or challenges with course design? There's multiple choice there with a few options. I'm curious what content experience you're using. If it's classic content, new content, or maybe you're not sure. Sometimes faculty aren't sure, they just use what they're told. And also, I'm curious about what best describes your role in your organization. Are you an admin, an instructional designer, faculty or subject matter expert, or maybe something else? All right, looks like we're about 80% done with the poll. Give another 20 seconds or so, but so far it looks like most folks here struggle the most with user experience as their biggest challenge with course design, followed by aligning learning objectives. That's, pretty common. Most people, about half, are using classic. The rest are either using new content or they're not sure. And we've got a lot of admins and instructional designers here with us today, with a few faculty sprinkled in. We love to see our faculty joining these sessions. Always happy to have everyone join, but it's always great to see faculty and get right to that end user. All right, I'm going to close out that poll now. Thank you to everyone who was able to participate there. So let's talk about some things that go into a great course. First of all, we have, when we first get started with creating a course, we need to conduct a needs assessment. So you're asking questions about your goals, your intended audience, and what that ideal learner experience looks like to help you keep an overall vision for your course as you're putting together your content and making design decisions. This will also help you ensure that you're designing your course in a way that's best for your teaching context and your audience. It's always a good idea to start with your learning objectives to help you outline what your learners should be able to do after they go through with the course. Once you're sure of your learning objectives, you can move forward with creating a plan for your course. This plan should outline key considerations and how you're going to address them within the course. For example, if you know that most of your learners will have English as a second language, you can note this in your plan and indicate that you'll be using a key terms glossary and plain language within the course. When you're drafting your plan, basing on your needs assessment, it gives you something to refer back to as you create your course, and it allows you to check in and make sure that your decisions are in line with those overall goals. Next, we're going to get into content creation. After you've solidified your plan for your course and your learning objectives, you have to start creating content. Likely you've been using content that's been previously created from a face-to-face version of a course or perhaps from colleagues. It's a great place to start with that, even though there'll be some editing and trimming involved in fitting your content into an online space. It'll help you reduce your workload by not starting completely from scratch. A huge advantage to using an online environment like Brightspace is the ability to create interactive and engaging activities that allow learners to practice and self-assess as they're moving through the content. This gives learners a chance to test their knowledge and see where they're doing well and which areas they need to improve on. Ideally, you'll build in frequent activities and assessments in your course, as this benefits learners and helps them stay on track to reinforce their learning. Finally, a key element is consistency when you're creating a program or a series of courses. This is also really important for organizations to consider for consistency across the organization. If you have many learners taking courses across various subject matter, you'll have a more cohesive and professional looking organization and program, and your learners won't have to waste time with reorienting themselves with each new course. They'll know what to expect and how to navigate through each individual course. When we're considering our course design, it's incredibly important to consider how you organize your course content. Some key things that we have found to contribute to a well-designed course include the following. Dividing content into modules. This makes it much more easily digestible for students. You can break down your content by week or by topic, but it's best to have your modules arranged prior to the start of the semester to limit confusion for students. You can use release conditions or start dates and end dates to gate content. This is a great way to slow the pace of your course if you don't want students rushing through all the content at the beginning. You can also use this to release remedial content or extra credit content, or ensure students are completing tasks before moving ahead. Also including a welcome module with resources, important dates, and contact information. This is especially important if you're using the new content experience and don't have the course overview. This is also a great feature if you want to use the welcome widget on your course homepage. And finally, we won't get too much into accessibility today as we have a whole session on that, but it's always important to use the built-in accessibility checker when you're building content within Brightspace to ensure that your content is up to accessibility standards. And our final consideration when we're thinking of course design is considering your content. When setting up a new course or program, you may have to choose between the classic content or new content experience. We're going to discuss the different experiences more in depth when we get into our demo, but this is just another consideration for the aesthetic as well as some of the functionality of the course. So with that, we're going to dive into our demo today. I'm going to get started on my course homepage here. And in our getting started session, we talked a lot about the navigation with our homepage and our nav bar. So I'm going to keep that Very quick overview today. We're not going to go into the editing. I'm just going to discuss them briefly, and then we'll go into the content tool. So here on our course homepage, this is where our consistency really comes into play, where we have consistent naming conventions across an organization, as well as a consistent flow across the organization. So within my nav bar, I've gone with my text-based nav bar. And you can see I have my more important tools on the left side. This is simply with our Western society reading left to right, it tends that learners will go to the left first when looking for those important tools in their nav bar. So if I want to draw learners to content, having it on the very left side of my nav bar makes it a little bit easier to find and simplifies that navigation. You can also see that in here as an admin, I have more options as I would with a student. So keeping the nav bar quite simple cuts down on confusion and makes it really quick and easy for students to find what they need. I have my nice welcome banner here with an image. That's just a nice aesthetic piece to add a bit of personalization and interest to your course. And then something I wanted to call out that I find is a really great component of course design is using this Meet Your Instructor widget. This is a custom widget, and we did go into this, how to create this previously. If you're interested, those resources are in the Brightspace community. But it's a great way to create that bit of connection with your students who you might not see face-to-face often or ever, depending on the format of your course. All right, so I'm going to go to my content tool. And I'm going to walk through just the course content organization and how you can expect your course to look. So you can see on my side navigation bar, I have my modules. I've divided them into weeks, and then I have my final assignment in a separate folder, as that's typically the large project for the course. Within my modules here, I'll open up. I have different content pages for that week's module, as well as all of the assessment for that week as well. So in this week, we happen to have a discussion, a quiz, and an assignment to do. And that is the same for every course module. So I have my content, my discussion, quiz, and then any assessment. You can see in this week 2 module, I have a subfolder here for additional support. And you can see with this little eye and gear icon, it's only visible if conditions are met. That means that this content is gated behind a release condition for additional support for students who may be struggling through the course. All right, so let's talk about our different content experiences. This is quite a big topic when we're considering our course design. I'm going to start with the classic content. So right now I'm on new content. As a faculty or instructional designer, you may or may not have the option to turn your content experience on and off, but admins will certainly have this permission. If you're interested in changing your content experience, you will have to reach out to your Brightspace admin at your organization, as this is permission-based. So I'm going to turn off my new content, go back to classic. All right, so we can see we're in our classic view now. Instructors and students have a very similar view of the content within the classic experience, I should say. There are 3 things right at the start I want to point out that are only available in the classic experience. First is the course overview here. This is where you can access, when you access the content tool for the first time, you'll automatically come to the overview page. This is used as a point to orient users with the course or course material. It's a great place to put your syllabus or your course outline. Next, we have our bookmarks. I don't have any bookmark topics here, but if I wanted to, I could bookmark whatever topic I would like, and that would show in this bookmark section. And then we have the course schedule here, which is a list of course due dates, start dates, end dates, and will also show overdue activities and other course events for the next 7 days. So you can see here, I have one due date in the next 7 days. Then we can also see our modules on the side navigation bar. With each module, it shows the number of content topics within each module. When you click on a module, it opens in this central table for the content screen, and then users can select which content topics or assessments they would like to access from there. There's also the option to see within each content page the the activity details down here at the bottom, where you can add completion requirements, dates and restrictions, and outcomes. You can also see the completion summary, where you can see if students have either completed the activity or if they are exempt, etc. For navigating content within the Classic experience, users have these arrows that will stay at the top of each content page where they can navigate to the next object in the module. Or they could expand the side panel here, which will show them the list of topics for that specific module. All right, so that's essentially navigating the Classic content experience. I'm going to go back to my home page or my home content and turn on my Classic or my new content experience so we can see the differences. So here within new content, you can see we don't have those options at the top for the overview, course schedule, or bookmarks. We do have the option here to add outcome or to see our outcomes. So with this outcomes button here, if I click on that, you can see all of the course outcomes and where assessments or content pages have been aligned to those outcomes throughout the course. I can also add or remove outcomes to my course right in this page. I can either add an outcome manually by clicking Add Outcome, or I can import outcomes either from a file, a program that's been created by my organization, or through the Achievement Standards Network. I'm going to go back to my content here. You can see I have all of my modules listed also in this side navigation bar. You can see units and topics are nested, and by clicking on each topic, it'll open like a file, and instead of opening in the main content page, you can see everything listed in the sidebar here. As of January of this year, the new content experience now supports adding modules up to 5 levels deep, whereas previously it was only allowed for 3 levels deep. So that's very exciting. We can have up to 5 levels here. So we can see 1, 2, 3 levels. I could have even further levels if I wanted to now. Another feature that's exclusive to the new content experience is the inline assessment. So this allows for instructors to view assessments, either assignments, quizzes, discussions, or external learning tools directly in the content tool. So I'll click on my week 1 discussion here to show you what that looks like. So this allows for instructors, they can edit the activity right here in content, and they can also scroll through to see student completion status of that particular assignment, and then it can go to that evaluation directly through content as well. And we also have completion requirements available for new content experience. When creating a page, we'll go to a page here. If I was to edit this page, sorry, my goodness, edit the page, I can add, this is the wrong page. My apologies, goodness. This page, here we go. If I was to edit that page, I can add completion requirements here, either manually or automatically by learner, same as I would do in the overview for the classic experience. This page is selected manually by learner. So when I scroll to the bottom of this page, and it was earlier today when I looked at this page, it showed me my little box to mark complete. So learners should see a box to mark their completion here. Perhaps one of my colleagues could grab a screenshot of that to add to our Q&A response. All right, so for navigation, users are able to navigate through the content topics on the side view menu as they can click through each topic in the module. And then coming in April, we'll also have the previous next buttons in the new content experience, just like our classic experience. All right. I'm going to go to our D2L Champions program. So if you have participated in some of our webinars before, you might be familiar with the Champions program. It's all about recognizing you and your participation with D2L. So if you are enjoying participating in these types of events, or you're interested in sharing feedback, participating in customer panels, D2L Champions allows you to earn points for that participation. You can then redeem those points for either D2L swag, gift cards, or even some of our D2L services. I'd also like to call out our higher education faculty group again. So we have the QR code on the screen, and we'll put the link in the chat as well for those who would like to join us there. It's a really great place to be in the community, and we'd love to have you. And then we have our upcoming sessions, accessibility in higher education, coming next month, where we'll really get into the nitty-gritty of accessibility. Competency-based education, and then we'll be talking all things assessment. So creating assignments and discussions, creating quizzes, how to give really great feedback, and also evaluation. The link for this is also in the chat as well as in the community. And then for our discussion portion of today, I'm curious what some of you are doing to create consistent course design across your organization. Perhaps you have preset templates or set nav bars across your org, or share your favorite element in one of your courses, or a tip for creating awesome courses, or something new you learned today that would be great for you all to share. You should be able to come off or raise your hand to come off mute, or if you'd like, the chat box is now open, so you can type your questions or comments in the chat.
Sam, I did also put in a suggestion that someone had given about they alphabetize their nav bars left to right for consistency.
Thank you, Catherine. That was a great tip. I I love alphabetization. As long as you're choosing the same thing across your whole program or organization, whatever that consistency is, that's great. I'm just looking at some comments in the chat. Jennifer says they've received positive feedback utilizing checklists for students. Yeah, absolutely. Checklists are one of my favorite tools and I think a really underutilized tool. Um, Greg says they've never had students use the completion check, but you think it could be helpful. Yeah, absolutely. If, students aren't sure where they need to go or not sure what they have missed, it's a great self-check sort of aspect. Thanks, Greg.
If I could
Hannah
just,
is,
oh,
oh yeah, go ahead, Renata.
sorry, Samantha, I just wanted to interrupt. Just a couple of questions I noticed about people not being able to see the accessible activities in line, like Samantha was showing.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a setting that's set in the config variable. So if you are not a Brightspace administrator, then you'll need to contact your Brightspace administrator to be able to have those the accessible activities appear in line. And if you are a Brightspace administrator, we can share the information in terms of how to enable that so that you do have those inline display there. So if you're not seeing it, it is something that does need to be configured.
Thank you so much, Renata. I'm just going back to the chat. Hannah says they are interested in exploring the completion check further. If you're curious about course completion, we did a whole session on completion tracking for our corporate accounts. That session is available in the community. And Jennifer says they're unaware of the accessibility checker. It's a really great feature, Jennifer. Next month, we'll be talking about everything to do with accessibility within Brightspace. So that might be a good session for you to join. I see Joseph says they're using course templates to maintain consistent student experience across the course. So, Joseph, are you saying that you use like a course, like HTML templates, or you've created a template course that your instructors can use to create their courses? I'm curious. Jane says they have different nav bars for different programs, undergrad online, grad online, campus, etc. It allows specialization for different programs. Yeah, great tip. I like that because different programs will need different things, right? Maybe different um, external tools, or there could be different various needs there. Great tip, Jennifer. Or sorry, Jane. Um, Jamie asked about information on how to configure. Are you talking about the configuration for inline assessment? We'll include that in the notes for today.
I
And
just
we'll
added it in the chat as well.
thank you. Thank you so much, Renata. And
Mm,
Hannah asked for the completion tracking session link if possible.
okay.
Um, oh, Greg has a question about the view. So if that's enabled by the administrator or institution, there are some considerations with using classic or new content, just as there are some differences in the experiences. So you'll have to reach out to your admin if you want to change your view. Okay, perfect. So that's all the chat for now. Let me go to the Q&A. Someone asked if the classic experience is getting phased out. Not at this time. So classic content isn't going anywhere. We're simply trying to bring the new content experience uh, up to have all of the same features as classic. Um, all right. Did anyone want to share any of their favorite elements in their courses, or maybe something that we haven't discussed today, like a widget, or different things you're using in your courses that you find create a really good student experience? Oh, I see a question about the competency tool. Is that being phased out? Again, not at this time. The outcomes standards tool is the focus and is being more commonly used, but competencies is not being phased out at this time, no. Someone asked if there's a reason why the overview section in Classic can't be transferred over when the new content experience is activated. That's a great question. I'm not really sure why that is. However, I would say to just use, if you wanted to use the overview section, I would just create a module called course overview or something like that and put whatever file, if you use your syllabus or course overview document, put that into that module instead of having a dedicated overview module. Um, just going back to the chat. Someone asking if the webinar chat will be saved. So all the questions asked in the webinar chat are moved over to our Q&A document. So all of those questions will be available to you in the PDF that will be in the community afterwards. It's also going to be emailed to you. So we'll make sure that you get the documentation in many different ways. Mandy says they love the classic experience. There seems to be additional clicks with the new content experience. I think it's just what you're used to, right? I personally prefer the new content experience because that's how I learned. You know, it's everyone is going to have different perspectives, but I'm glad you like classic. Hannah asks about a certificate of attendance. We don't typically give certificate of attendance, Hannah. I will put my email in the chat and you can reach out to me directly if that's something you specifically need. Um, okay. Jamie says they often make each module in similar folders. For example, each chapter will have a Start Here, supplemental resources, and assignments folder. The repetition gives students the knowledge of what they will find in each chapter module and where to look in each new chapter. Perfect. I love that consistency. I love that really methodical layout too. Great. Jen says they've been playing around with the competencies in a sort of development course. They've mapped learning objectives to a competency framework for developing digital competencies for higher ed teachers. And now you're tracking which competencies were headed, helping our faculty develop over time. Okay, so that's a really interesting way to use competencies. You're sort of seeing which competencies are most effective for faculty development. Very cool. Carly asks about bulk edit. So there is a bulk edit feature in the classic content experience that is not something that's currently available in the new content experience. All right. Any more questions coming through, or anyone want to come off mute and share today? It was a bit of a quicker session today for course design. Michael says, as an online instructor, how can we honor both the need for organizational consistency and your own personal style? That's a great question. I think you can really get into your style within the content pages. You know, the content you're putting in, um, the text you're typing, HTML templates you're using. If you have access to Creator Plus, you can get really creative with the different interactive elements, different things like that, while keeping the formatting like very consistent with your organization. Aaron asks where the recording can be found in the community. So it's going to be in a couple of places. There will be a blog article that has the recording, the slide deck, the PDF of the questions and answers. That will be within the community. We will also share the recording as well as that blog article to your email. So everyone who either registered or attended today will get an email in the next couple of days. And then the Brightspace tutorials YouTube page will also have all of the recordings as well. Alicia asks if we can scroll to the faculty community group again, or if we can link to it again. Absolutely, we can pop that in. Hannah asks about the phase out of Classic. I don't, no, that's not currently planned. It should be available, yeah, for the foreseeable future. There are many, many organizations who are still very attached to the Classic experience. We just offer the new content experience as a different option. All right, we do still have quite a bit of time. Again, it was a quicker session today than we had expected. We will stay along for questions and answers, but if there's no more questions, you can feel free to drop as you see fit. Thank you all for joining us today. We do have our survey available either through there'll be a link in the chat, or you can scan the QR that you see on the screen. And thank you, and have a great rest of your day.
Maureen, was there a specific link that you were looking for? And we can share those out again.
see if there's a hand up. Garen, we're able to,
Yeah, are we able to bring Garen off mute?
let's see.
There we go. Garen, you should be able to talk now.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for this. I ended up being late because I was recording for a course.
Oh, no problem.
So I missed some of what you had, but I'm wondering, is there any likelihood in the future that the unit pages, those first, when you create a unit,
Mm-hmm.
that first page is not able to be manipulated into an HTML page, which means it
Yeah.
has extremely limited ability to have that first, because that's where students first see, that's their access point. And so that's the hook. And unfortunately, we have limited ability to play with that hook in order to capture them prior to actually having to select the first HTML page or content item that's inside there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if if they've got that anywhere in the roadmap to tweak that unit page to be HTML adaptable?
That's a
That makes sense?
yes, it does make sense. And that's definitely something I've encountered when I've been creating courses as well that can be quite frustrating. It's not currently on our public roadmap, but I know it is like a known issue for our product team. So I can't speak to if it, anytime soon is a fix, but it is something that our team is aware of. And that's a great call out. I appreciate it. I believe you can, let me just pull up the course again. Yeah,
There's
it's really
plenty you can
basic.
do with it. Yeah, there is plenty you can do with it, but
Hmm.
sometimes that unit page is anyway. So
Yeah, you can't add like the HTML.
no.
That's really tough.
Well,
Uh,
thank you. You've answered the question. I've got my TAM meeting coming up, and I'm gonna harass him about it also a little bit.
yeah,
Um,
bring it up with your TAMs.
yeah,
They can typically advance items like that. I don't know if there's a pie item for that. Your TAM probably will know if there's a pie item for it.
Yeah,
Um,
I was just
yeah.
looking and I didn't see anything upon my initial investigation, but thanks for bringing that up, Garen. It definitely, um, yeah, that's an important one, I think.
yeah,
You bet. Again,
absolutely.
I'll go off mic. I just didn't feel like tapping anymore for right now. Tap
No
all day.
worries.
Thank you so much.
No problem, Garen. Thank you so much. Take care. I see Alicia asked about students who aren't getting announcement notifications. Um, that is interesting. If you have, oh, through Pulse. Pulse can be tricky. Um, I would, if you have end user support, maybe they reach out there. But we can include some of our documentation for the Pulse app um, in our Q&A report today. Thank you, Renata. All right, folks, if there's no more questions for today, I'm going to go ahead and close the webinar. Thank you all for joining us, and I hope you have a great rest of your afternoon, and take care.